audio systems, and we're the people who have teamed up with DMX a number of years ago in creating what we call harmonic healthcare. And these are music programs that are specifically designed to impact the sonic environment of the healthcare campus, be it a hospital, a medical office building, or even a doctor's office. Now, the idea for harmonic healthcare came from a realization and an observation that the sonic environment, much like your studies of the sonic environment in the retail environment, but the sonic environment in healthcare is making a tremendous difference and impact on the efficiency and efficacy of the healers and the healing process. For example, when we have a lot of noise in a hospital, it has an impact on patients beyond recognition and measured through the years, simply because people lose sleep. In a tense environment, some of the music and the cadence and pace makes them more tense. In an area where we need some quiet and some silence for reflection or for some contemplation, we're missing that, and we're impacting it with a lot of noise. And then on top of that, people come in and say, well, let me go ahead and put some music in here. That'll solve things. And what's happening is, unfortunately, we're adding insult to injury. Adding noise to noise does not work out. So what do we have? Well, what Aesthetic Audio Systems has been doing in hospitals is doing an acoustic assessment and measuring the sound and noise impediments. That's in the hospitals. Before you do something, you have to do something first. In hospitals, if you prescribe before diagnosis, that's malpractice. And the same applies to our music in the hospitals. So we do an assessment before we put music in, and we decide where we would or would not put music. Now, in medical office buildings, now there's a very important distinction. Medical office buildings are buildings which are often near or attached to a hospital. And those medical office buildings do not have the same noise issues and challenges as you have in a hospital. The reason I give you this background is I think it's important that you understand the healthcare environment to differentiate yourselves here in the sales that you'll be doing against all of your competition. Against all of your competition, because frankly, none of them have anything like harmonic healthcare. So now, when we look at the medical office buildings, again, these buildings that are near or attached to hospitals. Typically they have doctors who are indeed attached to hospitals through their practices. A medical office building has a hallway with doctors' offices to each side, and much like it would be in an apartment building or even a hotel. And so this is a typical application of a medical office building. When I walked in the lobby, in the foyer, there's a speaker, you're embraced with some music. Here we've got a long corridor, we've got music speakers about every 10 to 12 feet. And what you hear typically is nice, sweet, soft music that's tuned to the environment. We've got carpeting here, and we've got acoustic ceiling, and we've got, of course, wall board. So it's tuned to that particular environment. This is the medical office building as opposed to what's inside that office, which is the doctor's office that we've been in before. And so in the medical office buildings, what Aesthetic Audio Systems does is we create music for the public spaces. And in fact, we have a video here that will show you what a medical office building looks like and how it fits into the overall schema. Let's take a look. Okay, so now that we see how that works, let's talk a little bit about what you will be doing and with whom you'll be doing it. So the hospitals are a different sell, and they're much more expensive than in an office, than a medical office building and the doctor's office. So you don't have to worry about that. But you should know is that these hospitals will pay anywhere from $800 a month to $2,500 a month for the music throughout the hospital. Medical office buildings usually have a one Perfusion X box with maximum of 4 zones. And they're going to pay in the neighborhood of $700, $800, $900 a month, depending upon the medical office building. Again, I just want you to have that as background. But let's talk about the arena that you'll be working. And that arena is the doctor's office. Now, It's a doctor's office smaller than 5,000 square feet. And the doctor's office generally consists of a waiting area, examination rooms or operatories, some small hallways, some individual staff and admin offices. And that's what a doctor's office is. And it's our endeavor to go to the medical office buildings that we already have the music, and perhaps some that don't already have our music, and go to the doctors and make this offering so that they can have more of what they want. That's it. That's the plan. And that's what we're going to talk about today. The medical office building, the typical installation, will be on a monthly basis, not the $2,000 or the $800, but $99 a month. That's $99 a month for the music which has been tested to impact the human condition in a way that we want them impacted. So our differentiation is going to be in the quality and the style of the music and the brand of Harmonic Healthcare, which is associated with one of the foremost authorities on the impact of music on the human condition, and that's Mr. Don Campbell, Dr. Don Campbell. Don Campbell, the principal of Aesthetic Audio Systems, who has developed each and every one of the music programs. So it's $99 a month for the practice. Well, come on in. We're in a small doctor's office here, an application that we might have one, maybe two or three speakers. We're in the wait space here. It might seat about 6 people, probably on average 3 people sitting here, depending upon if they bring family. And the strategic intent of this particular area is relaxation and maybe time and space compression, such that I don't feel like I'm waiting quite as long. Also sends a message from doctor and staff that we care a little bit more about our patients so as to provide this music. You'll note that the speaker up there in this space is one DMX speaker. I think it's about a 6 1/4 round. Doesn't require a lot because the volume is not very high. We also don't want the volume high because our reception staff is listening to this music, and we don't want them to be listening to this relaxing music and for productivity to tail off. Now in this application, of course, I have the opportunity of reading a magazine or listening to the music or both, but I'm not obstructed with television. And of course, we have sound of technology and telephones and the like, but all of these things blend into the background. Let's take a look here. I'll show you where there's another speaker. And the reason we have this speaker is that we have a wait space here as well. And so there might be people here ready to go into a procedure. It's imaging over here. And so they have, again, one more speaker, just one, in this space with the music played very, very light. Now, people will never pay for gold if they don't know the value of the gold, right? And so what we want to talk about here is what is the value? And the WIFM, the what's in it for me, to the staff. And in order to do that, let's just sort of look at an organization chart in a doctor's office. Think about it. Have you been in a doctor's office? Well, of course you have. Have you sold to a doctor's office? If you have, great. I'm preaching to the choir here, and you know who the characters are. But if not, let's look at who we've got. Well, we walk into a doctor's office, and we typically see who? A receptionist. And that receptionist is at the desk. That receptionist may be the same person who serves as the office manager, and probably does not, depending upon the practice. So we have a receptionist who is there within earshot of the wait space, who is the first impression. We call her or him the ambassador of first impressions. And they're actually listening to whatever music or conversation or television is in the wait space. They're hearing that, and they're hearing that all day. Important thing to consider. We'll hold that up here for a moment.